think about that?
Amazing. I cannot get enough.
Over the past few days, we've moved through this forest together, not just across the land, but in relationship with it. On Friday, we practiced reciprocity. We offered our hands and time to protect something bigger than us. We sanded a deck weathered by the sea, restoring a space that holds joy, rest, and refuge for visitors we'll never meet. We left something better than we found it. Not for recognition, but because that's what love does. On Saturday, we moved at the pace of presence, which for us was about 1 mile per hour. We noticed. We got curious. On one nurse log, we found 2 species of huckleberries, 2 types of moss, a rhododendron, and more life than we could name. We wandered through a part of the forest that once held ancient redwoods, trees who stood for thousands of years, who saw the rise of this nation, and whose absence is still felt. Trees that were taken, stolen lumber on stolen land, displacing the Tolowa people who knew these trees as relatives. And yet, even in loss, even in stumps, we saw resilience. We saw life springing up again, new roots finding a way through. And the same is true for us. For those of us who have known bodily harm, who've carried violence in our bones, we found kinship in those stumps. We saw that you can still offer something meaningful. You can still show up. You can still belong. We arrived on Thursday as a circle of strangers. Some of us knew each other from other retreats, other trails, other lifetimes. Some of us took a leap of faith. And while we might not have known exactly why we came, there was a reason. And we honored that reason with every breath we took here. You chose this. You chose to reconnect. You chose to slow down. You chose to remember something ancient in your body and your bones. There were no requirements this weekend. No tests, no badges, no certificates. The only people who will know what this meant to you are the ones you choose to tell. So, what will you tell them? What will be the first story you share when someone asks, "Hey, how did it go?" Will it be about the deck we restored? The banana slugs on the trail? The way 2.5 hours felt like 5 minutes? Will it be about how you let the water wash something off you at Mill Creek? How your body softened when you finally listened to what it wanted? For me, the memory I'll carry is how this place held us. Not just the land, but the people. How we showed up for one another without fanfare. How, like the redwoods, our roots quietly found each other beneath the surface. Sequoia sempervirens, the coast redwood, always living, even when fallen, even when cut, even when carved into canoes or regalia, even when only a memory, these trees live on. And so do we. We don't know what parts of this experience will remain with us, but I trust that whatever sticks, whatever becomes part of your story, will do so for a reason. Because this feeling, this way of being, it isn't a fantasy. It's not a fluke. It's a vision of what's possible. And it's one you helped create. Over the past decade, I've been asking where I come from, what I'm unlearning, what I'm remembering. And this land, this retreat, reminds me that we don't have to trade culture for survival. We don't have to stay disconnected to feel safe. We can return to the rhythm of the earth and live differently. This weekend wasn't about escaping. It was about rerouting. You are a good ancestor. Every moment you choose care over convenience. Every time you act with intention, not perfection. Every time you remember that your worth isn't tied to your productivity. Every time you love something enough to protect it. Now, before we make our way back to camp and pack up our belongings, we have one last stop together, the Grove of Titans. These are some of the largest and oldest redwoods in the world, trees that have stood here, quietly holding the hillside, before any of us arrived. They are living testaments to endurance, cooperation, and time. This is also a popular grove, a place where wonder draws more people in, a place that marks the beginning of our return to the world beyond the gate at the end of the driveway. So as we walk this trail, We're still with the old ones, these elders, these relatives. But we're also beginning to share space again with the hum of other humans. This moment is a soft re-entry, a bridge between the deep slowness we've cultivated and the pace of life waiting outside the forest. As you move through the grove, I invite you to notice what comes up. Are you feeling inspired by the trees? Are you noticing how your body responds to the presence of more people? Can you feel the difference between the rhythm we've lived in all weekend and the energy of other visitors here? There's no right answer. Maybe you find joy in sharing this place with others, seeing the spark in someone else's eyes as they tilt their head back in awe. Or maybe part of you is already craving quiet again, more space, more time in the rhythm we've created here together. Both are valid, both are real. This grove is a good place to practice witnessing, not just the trees, but yourself. How are you arriving now? What are you carrying with you? Let the forest continue to hold your questions. Let the trees remind you that you don't have to have it all figured out by the time you get to the parking lot. Just stay present, stay open, and let this final walk be your way back, not just to the world beyond the forest, but to the version of yourself you've been remembering here. So I'll leave you with this. What do you want to take with you from this experience? What story will you tell? What will you say yes to now that you've felt what's possible? Thank you for walking this path. Thank you for being part of this circle. And thank you for allowing this place and each other to hold you. This isn't the end. It's just the next bend in the trail.